Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talladega Talks with CPA Ontario. Today, we'll be talking to CPA Ontario Board of Ambassador representatives to help us explore how a CPA designation can open opportunities for you beyond accounting. My name is Mary Barrell, and I'm the president of Talladega. Joining us today is Abigail Ackham, who is taking her Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting at Fanshawe College and is also the event coordinator for the Fanshawe Accounting Association. We also have Curtis Tilbury, who's completing his BCom in accounting at Nipissing University and is a director at large for the Nipissing University Students Union. And finally, we also welcome Nicole Segredo, who's taking a Bachelor of Commerce degree at the Smith School of Business at Queen's University. Nicole is also the head teaching assistant for the introductory accounting course at Queen's. It's wonderful to have you all here today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for that lovely introduction, Mary. We're excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. Before we begin, Nicole, can you give us a little more background on CPA Ontario and the Board of Ambassadors?
And it's two branches. So one of them is, the professional CPAs who are contributing to decision-making in their respective businesses. And that's kind of where CPA Ontario acts as a regulatory board overseeing all these professionals and ensuring that they're held to the highest standards of ethics. The second branch is more about the training the students to become CPAs, and that's kind of where the Board of Ambassadors fall in. And in that area, it's really CPA's job more to educate the aspiring CPAs and inform them of how to follow their career path.
Well, that's some terrific background. And with that in mind, let's jump right into the questions. I'd like to get a sense from all of you, what excites you the most about becoming a CPA? Curtis, can we begin with you?
Sure. What excites me the most for the CPA designation is the adaptability of the role. A lot of people think that being a CPA is just accounting, but you can go into any industry with the designation. Like for me in particular, I would love to pivot into hospitality, as that was where my very first career passion was.
Well, that's really fascinating about that sort of flexibility that it gives you. And what about you, Abigail?
For me, I'm excited for the opportunities that the designation provides. It gives you an opportunity to tap into different areas, as Curtis mentioned, but the opportunities that you get are just top of the line. And as someone with a designation, they look for you to have different skill sets that the CPA designation provides.
And Nicole?
Yeah, for sure. I think Curtis and Abigail may have stole my thunder a bit, but I think a lot of it also comes from that marketability and the doors that it does open. And for me, similar to Curtis, I do have some other industry interests. I've always been interested in law. And so I think with the CPA, it's something you can really leverage into different industries. For example, with my designation, I could move into forensic accounting or financial crimes and kind of merge those two passions together. And yeah, I'm just very excited to be able to say, I'm a CPA and instantly have people recognize that I'm part of this community of intelligent professionals and have them recognize the work and energy I've put in to obtain the skills and knowledge I have.
Yeah, you get that extra professionalism designation when you get a CPA for sure. What's one common misconception that you had about pursuing your CPA dream that was later changed? Abigail, could you take this on?
Well, for me, I'm a mature student. So when I started my CPA journey, there was actually the three designations: CMA, CGA, and CA. And since then, they've amalgamated into the CPA designation that we have currently. The misconception that I had was about the cost for the program and to complete it. I originally thought it was going to be so much more expensive than it is, but it's actually a quite reasonable price and cheaper than postgraduate diplomas or master's programs that are an alternate option to take.
Curtis, can you provide a few examples of the types of events that students can get involved in as part of the PSAP program and where they can go for more information?
So event-wise, we have a lot of workshops and we do case competitions. In terms of workshops, we have Excel workshop. One that is exciting that happens annually is Live at the Drive-In, which is more so about just having fun. Like we get together, go to a drive-in, see a movie, and there's all kinds of additional events happening during the event itself. For more information about the program, you can just go to cpaontario.com/psap.com. The information for the program will be right there.
So it sounds like there's a lot of networking opportunities when you get involved. And I'd like to know, really take a look at what has been the most memorable or impactful about being involved in the PSAP program, Nicole, or as part of the Board of Ambassadors program.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's many things I've enjoyed. Like Curtis said, there's so many amazing events and workshops, but I think the part that has stood out to me the most has been being able to meet and network with like-minded students. And so both when I was a PSAP and now as the Board of Ambassador, you really have this opportunity to meet so many other students who are hardworking and kind people, and they're all working toward that same goal as you to eventually try and get that CPA. And it's really great to be able to kind of become a part of that community. And connected with that networking is now as a Board of Ambassador, I not only get to meet other like-minded students, but I get to kind of meet some first and second year students who are sometimes a little confused and unsure about the path they want to follow. And I get to kind of add on to not just meeting them, but getting to kind of help and guide them along the way. So that's been something that's really stood out to me in part of those programs.
So almost like a mentor for other students interested in pursuing, well, something along this CPA designation in their accounting profession. What kind of impact in your community or world of business are you looking forward to having as a future CPA? Abigail, can you take this on?
For me, I'm looking to be a disruptor in the business world. I not only want to bring a unique focus and unique energy and personality to the role, but I also want to be somebody that helps empower people. As a Black person, financial literacy is not something that's as common in our community. So I really want to work within the Black community to empower people and to provide financial literacy and education to help them so that they can move forward in their life and achieve their goals just like I'm doing.
That's very inspiring, Abigail. Curtis, how about you?
Like just as Abigail said, want to bring a emphasis on communication, on financial literacy, just to the general community. It's very important to me that everyone understands what kind of financial decisions they're making. I have had the pleasure of knowing a lot of my friends who have gone off to become entrepreneurs, and some have a business background, some don't. So the ones that do have a business background are more set to succeed because they know what is required as a business for them, both like in terms of reporting taxes and that. But my friends that don't have that background, they're not sure how maybe their taxes should be reported. Like that's where I want to have an impact.
And a very worthy one as well. So what would you say to a student, Nicole, who's unsure if pursuing the CPA designation is right for them? Are there resources available that can support them in making that decision that's best for them?
Yeah, for sure. And as a BOA, this is one of the things we spend a lot of time actually trying to get that message out there and be available to students who are having these concerns and questions. And I would say, obviously, like one of the best routes of action is to kind of research it further and compare it to your other options that you're considering. And I would remind them that kind of as we've spoken to today, that the CPA designation doesn't necessarily close them off to other opportunities. When they make that decision to pursue it, they're not turning their back on all their other options. It really does leave a lot of opportunities open for them to pivot later on and leverage that CPA, and it really can become almost even better for them and open more doors for them, if anything. In terms of resources that they can have available them to make this decision is, of course, there is the CPA Ontario website, like Curtis mentioned earlier, as well as registering for PSAP, where we have lots of information sessions. But they can also attempt to connect to the BOA or CPA Ontario campus recruiter available on their respective campuses. And we're always very willing to reach out to them and speak with them, provide any answers, and kind of lead them into the CPA Ontario website if they're looking for something specific. And in general, kind of like networking with us, the BOAs, they can also network with other CPAs and just kind of talk to them about their career path and their current job, and really see if what they're saying fits with what they're hoping their career to look like. I think it's really just all about speaking to people and seeing what feels right to you.
And Abigail, what would you say to a student who's unsure about whether they want to pursue a CPA designation?
Well, I actually had this opportunity. I'm a peer mentor at my school, and my mentee came to me asking about the CPA designation and wanting to know more information. And I just told them some of the same things that Nicole pointed out, checking out the website. I suggested that they connect with the campus recruiter, and then I provided some additional support and information as well. And would say that, consider your options. The CPA designation is world renowned and it gives you a lot of opportunities. So it is a wise path to consider taking.
Well, I'd like to also ask you that if you could offer one piece of advice, Curtis, to your fellow aspiring CPAs or those thinking about a career in accounting and finance, what would it be?
Reflecting on my past experience, what I would advise someone who's thinking to have a career in accounting or finance is to not be afraid to slow down their education. These are topics that can be very difficult to understand. For me in particular, I did my first year of university full course load. And in order to fully take in the content and actually understand the concepts, I have decided to slow down, go part-time, because there's nothing worse than going through your education and then having to relearn on the job.
Absolutely. And Nicole?
Really great advice, Curtis. And I think that's something a lot of students sometimes struggle with, is that feeling of they have to get it done by a certain time. So that's awesome advice. I think from my personal experience, some other advice I would share is networking. While of course it is extremely important to learn the course concepts like Curtis said, and definitely take your time doing that, on top of that, something really great to do is spend time getting to know the CPAs and learn more about the CPA pathway. Whether you're unsure about it or if you're certain, it's great to learn more about what's ahead of you. And I think it really helps to have these contacts, not only for, recruiting purposes, to have them there when you're looking for a job, but it's also great to have those for asking for guidance throughout your career when you're kind of stuck or considering something and you're unsure about a decision you want to make throughout that career pathway. It's so great to have these contacts who are all throughout that path and just ask them, what did you do when you were in my position? What would you recommend? Kind of a subtle plug, but in terms of networking, PSAP does have a lot of amazing networking opportunities, as we mentioned, and that's where a lot of my networking actually began and where I learned how to network. So if you are considering it, I would highly recommend PSAP. There's lots of opportunities, including our accounting week that's coming up. But yeah, I think that'd be my main piece of advice, is networking.
Well, so important for a career journey. A special thanks to Abigail, Nicole, and Curtis for answering all of our questions for our audience. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Do you have any final thoughts for students and new grads? Abigail, can you take this on and give us some final thoughts?
Absolutely. I'd just like to say that the CPA designation is a great path to take, and CPA Ontario has some really awesome opportunities through the PSAP program, as you've heard us talk about. So definitely check us out, look out on the website and get some more information. There's lots to find out and lots of opportunities, as Nicole said, to network. So definitely join PSAP ASAP if you can.
Well, thank you all very much. You can learn more about CPA Ontario and their terrific initiatives on talentegg.ca. Also, this video will be available on Talentegg's YouTube channel and on our social media. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to tune into our next Talentegg Talks. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and visit our website, talentegg.ca, to find out more information about CPA Ontario. Have an excellent day, and thanks for watching.